All right, hello and welcome to Tina and Karen Do the Tube. I am Karen.
This is Tina.
We have yet to decide on the next cartoon character Tina will be impersonating, but until
Oh
then,
yeah, I was supposed to be Italian, right?
you were supposed to be Mario, weren't you?
Yeah, I'll do it next time.
It's me, Tina. Oh, well, this is a great way to start the show. We've already lost our entire audience. All right. Anyways, we got a great show for you tonight. Tonight, actor and star of the film Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, dies at the age of 43. How will this impact the
Oh my
MCU?
God.
I know, very young. How will this impact the MCU going forward? Plus, Tina and I will discuss the 4 deep, dark secrets of the porn industry, as well as discuss the future of YouTube. Is it too big to fail? Or are there some competitors out there that can usurp the juggernaut video sharing site? But before we get into any of that, Tino would like to pour his soul out in the form of a poem in a loving tribute to sheer stupidity.
Recently, we had a noble man die, a brave man.
Not Bozeman.
Not talking about Chad Boseman. Let's clarify that. He was a man with a cause. He had a dream, and that was to catch some awesome waves off the coast of Texas during the middle, or actually right before a hurricane.
Wait, did he not? Wait, sorry, I didn't. I read part of the article. Did he not know that there was a hurricane coming?
No, he knew there was a hurricane coming.
my
That's why he went out.
Okay, yeah, that's real stupidity. The other scenario would be ignorance, but this is just sheer stupidity. Okay.
But I think it's sheer bravery, and I wrote a poem for him in memory for our lost soul here, and it's a short poem, but I think you'll like it.
I better.
There was a hurricane waiting, and his clout was chasing, a board in his hand, and the stakes were raising. Once surfing on the water, the terrain he became a part of, his upturned board became what was a tombstone into a martyr.
Oh, was that it?
I'm waiting for the clapping.
That's deserving of a slow clap, Marty. That way, bravo.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, all right. That's what I like to hear. Tina is a poet. He's got a poet's soul.
He was inspired by the Jimmy Buffett song "Surfing in a Hurricane."
Okay, I was gonna say a poet's heart or a poet's brain, but Jimmy Buffett is who you cite, so I'm not so sure. I know you like Jimmy Buffett. I like Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, he's like he's just a relaxed sort of guy, you know. It's a guy I can have a drink with.
Do you remember when we were driving across the country and I think we needed some entertainment? So I don't remember, did we buy or were we going to buy like a best of Johnny Cash and Jimmy Buffett CD? That's all, or you brought one?
Oh yeah.
I thought you brought
Did we
one.
ever listen to that?
No, but wasn't there? We also listened to what's his name? Shoot. We did have a CD for. God, who's the guy who sings the "Fuck You" song?
Fuck you.
Yeah, you know,
God, I'm drawing a blank.
With the girl I knew, and then I'm like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
I'm drawing.
Oh, I know what song.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's his name? CeeLo Green.
Is it Andre?
Green. No, it's.
Oh yeah, CeeLo.
CeeLo Green. We also I think bought a Christmas album from CeeLo Green. Do you remember that? You remember that, right?
I'm remembering it now. I had forgotten about that until now, but I do remember that.
It's CeeLo Green. CeeLo Green sings the Christmas hits. It's beautiful.
Yeah. We like to travel vicariously through whatever music we can find.
What singer or songwriter or artist would you like to cut a Christmas album?
Who's that one guy? Oh God, what's his name? Not who did that song "Cradle to the Grave"?
I don't know that one. Cradle to the Grave? I don't.
or was it a movie? God,
Is that a
he's
rap
got
song or is
so
it a
he's
it's a
it's such a lovely voice for a Christmas album.
See, I was gonna go say Marilyn Manson.
Maybe like Nightmare Before Christmas, you know.
Hey, Nightmare Before Christmas is
The
a legitimate Christmas movie. I enjoy it.
I know
It's really good.
it's a misnomer of a title.
I yeah. I mean, plus it's got one of the most underrated messages you could have in a lot of films. Most films I think would stray away from this sort of moral, but it's know thyself, Socrates. It's
Ooh,
that's the whole message of the movie. Is like Jack Skellington wants to be something he's not, and he fails miserably. He tries and fails, but it's actually a good message because the message there is know thyself. He is the Pumpkin King of Halloween. He's not Santa Claus. He needs to accept that and be the best Pumpkin King he can be.
I just looked up who the rapper I was trying to think of.
Anyway,
DMX would be the best Christmas album.
DMX. That'd be good.
Yeah,
I would.
X gonna give it to you.
Oh, that's
What?
yeah. What? Oh no.
Santa?
Oh,
What?
do you remember Okay, so DMX. Before we get into our actual stories, I want to tell this little anecdote. DMX was told. DMX apparently does not follow much news. So,
Really?
yeah, no, he's well. I mean, no one would know this, but apparently he doesn't like follow current events or anything. But anyway, in 2008 or so, after Barack Obama got elected, someone had told him that the United States had elected a black president and that his name was Barack Obama. He didn't know anything about Barack Obama. And he laughed at someone telling him that. It's like, there ain't no way America's going to elect a black man named Barack Obama. There's a quote out there you can find. This is a true story. He did not know Barack Obama was running for president. He did not know.
He's so out of the loop. He didn't even know that.
Exactly. He did not know, and he just did not. He laughed at the idea that like America would elect a black man, and he laughed at the idea that they would elect a black man named Barack Obama.
That's a true story. That's hilarious.
I'm serious. You can look this up. It's apparently a true story. He really just did. He's so out of the loop. He didn't even know that Barack was running for president.
He's probably so out of the loop. He still thinks he's, mega famous.
He's always number one in my heart. All right. But moving on, we got to talk about some serious news. So, actor Chadwick Boseman dies at the age of 43 after a 4-year battle with colon cancer. He was at home with his wife and family. Boseman's breakout role was 42, where he played Jackie Robinson, and I really liked that movie. You ever seen
Yeah, I actually know the company works nearby me, Ebbsfield Flannel, that's made all the jerseys for that movie.
No kidding, really? So they had to
Yeah.
make a bunch of old-timey 1940s jerseys?
Yeah, their specialty is like old Negro League and like Japanese League and Cuban League jerseys and apparel.
That's actually really cool. I would actually want a jersey like that. Like, have you ever considered getting one?
I don't think they wholesale out. I think they just do direct to customer sales, or maybe if they need like a large order, like a special contract.
So,
Uh,
to the lay person who doesn't know, Tino runs a sports apparel shop. Do you ever,
mhm.
like for retro nights, ever do like older jerseys like that? Have you ever sold anything like that?
The Trident always outsells the Mariners logo jerseys. People still love the Trident.
I think there's a bit of. I think you know what the funny thing about Seattle sports is, like we have so little accomplishments that nostalgia is all we got.
I know, and the reason why we got rid of that pitchfork is because they never had a winning season in it.
Oh my god, is that right? So like, not until they
Yeah,
had the compass, like did they never had a win. So 90 was it?
77 to I think 91, 92 before they switched to the generic S.
So I know
Uh,
95 was our first playoff appearance, and there's a period between 95 and 2001 where the Mariners are legitimately good, but the rest is all garbage. And, but like 91 or 92 was the first winning season or something like that, wasn't it?
yeah. Speaking, I mean, if you want to learn more about the Mariners, there's this, was it Boomtown? it was basically this ESPN sponsored documentary on YouTube. It was like a 4 or 6 part series, and they go all about the entire history of the Mariners and how they think the Mariners are the most interesting professional sports team of all time. Not the best, not the worst, but the most interesting because of all the crazy shit and stuff that, went on with them throughout their history.
I don't know about crazy. I mean, I recently just like the last 2 days have gotten into The Last Dance on Netflix. Um,
Ooh, what do you think?
you told me that I was gonna not like Michael Jordan. I think I like Michael Jordan perfectly fine after watching. I'm not finished with the series, but I'm enjoying it. And I mean, I guess there's this notion Michael Jordan's sort of a jerk, but I don't think you can be that big a winner and not be a jerk.
I think he thought he was going to be viewed more as a jerk than he was received afterwards. I think I told you what I remember telling you was it's basically a 10 part series that can be boiled down to 4 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying it. I mean, the history of the Chicago Bulls, that's like the greatest sports franchise, one of the greatest dynasties in all of sports. And Michael
The
Jordan.
complete opposite of the Mariners.
Yeah, very much. And Michael Jordan is probably the biggest celebrity athlete there ever was. I mean, you could
Hmm.
probably say Muhammad Ali, you could probably say Babe Ruth, but Michael Jordan's got to be number one, don't you think?
I think because I watched a lot of talk show or sports talk shows after the series because I was kind of relearning about Jordan, and they were like, there's only like a very select few sports players in general that they could do like a multi-piece documentary on, and the 2 or 3 I think were Jordan and Muhammad Ali and possibly Babe Ruth, but I'm not entirely sure. I think
I'm.
that was still iffy on the Babe Ruth one,
I
but
think I.
Ali and Jordan were like the two they could see because well, they did outside and like inside their sports.
Yeah, I think if you had a Mount Rushmore of sports figures, just across all sports, I think. I mean, at least in an American context, I'm sure globally Babe Ruth's not a big deal, but
Hmm.
but in an American context, Mount Rushmore of sports is easily Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Babe Ruth, and
So do you throw in Tom Brady?
no, I don't. And
See, even they said they can think of doing like a 2 3 part, documentary on Tom Brady. Just doesn't think people be interested enough.
I have a lot of respect for Tom Brady more than the average person. I mean, I remember when it was Tom. I remember when the Patriots were playing the Rams.
Hmm.
Not the first time, the most recent time, obviously. And
Yeah.
all of my friends were picking the Rams. Everyone I knew was picking the Rams, and I was picking the Patriots because, well, I got no love for the Rams. I hate the Rams. First off, division rival. Second off, like how boring a team is that? Like Jared Goff holding the Lombardi Trophy. What the fuck is that about? But I had respect for Tom Brady at that point. It's just a matter of just saying, hey, like I'm watching the greatest of all time. It's like if I were alive in the '90s, I wouldn't mind watching the Bulls destroy my Sonics because I'm watching the greatest of all time. You know? So
Yeah, yeah.
as much as I don't like Tom Brady on many levels, I just have a lot of respect that he is the best at what he does. Like there's no one better. He
Oh, I think one of the people they said they could possibly see doing like a multi documentary on was Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods is good. Actually, if there was a fourth figure, I don't know if Tiger Woods would be it, but he'd be up there.
Because you need that both that like dominance and that sort of aspect outside of sports to kind of,
You need the human
draw you in.
interest beast. You need like there needs to be more of a than just dominance. There has to be a human interest piece to it.
Yeah.
With the
That's
Bulls,
where I think like Tom Brady is like arguably the best NFL player of all time, but as far as interesting, he's kind of a doof outside of
well, no, okay. There's so much that can be said about Tom Brady because, on one hand, he should be like the picturesque Hollywood movie star in terms of his story, right? He was a late round backup quarterback. He was a backup quarterback in college. Nobody wanted him. He's a late round pick. No one thought he'd amount to anything, and he's now the best player of all time. That's
You
like
think you'd have a story there,
there'd
right?
be more of a story there, but I think I don't know. It's maybe something about his personality. Maybe he's just too generic. He's too bland. But yeah, he's just not interesting enough. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, he's interesting in the sense that he's just a larger-than-life figure. His competitive drive, his demeanor. Muhammad Ali, obviously bigger than life. Babe Ruth, bigger than life. It's funny, Michael Jordan doesn't have that personality really either, does he? He's just that dominant.
Who was cut off for a second?
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael Jordan. Like, does he have that like personality?
His airness. He was in one of my favorite movies, Space Jam.
Space Jam is one of my favorite movies too. We're gonna do a
We're gonna do a podcast on Space Jam.
We're gonna do a podcast where we're gonna review Space Jam. That is like it's on the list. We're gonna do it. You know what?
I mean, it's also the fact that like he tried to play professional baseball, got up to AAA, and was not a bad AAA baseball player. Plus the fact that his dad was killed in the middle of his career.
I haven't gotten to that part. Michael Jordan's dad was killed?
Yeah, it's something a lot of people forget.
I never knew it. I mean, I don't track these players' personal lives that much. I mean, I remember growing up, Michael Jordan was huge. But this documentary is getting me more involved in what he was off the court. And I knew Michael Jordan off the court was Space Jam. That was it.
Yeah, for us, because like we were in that age where we kind of are gathering like what's going on in the sports world, but we don't know like everything going on.
Well, let me tell you what the most recent episode I watched and how I was kind of confused by it, and like, so the most recent thing they talked about before I stopped watching was how Michael Jordan refused to endorse a political candidate, and that somehow hurt his reputation. Did you know anything about that before watching the series?
No, yeah, I hadn't heard that. I do remember that part of the episode, though. It wasn't like a big part, but
no, it was just a little segment in one episode. But
yeah, but I imagine that like nowadays, if like
nowadays, well, like the funny part is like well, nowadays athletes go way out of their way above and beyond to try to be political. And Michael Jordan basically in the 90s refused to be political, and I don't think that was an issue back then. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's like now you have to feel like charged. If you're like silent, then you're being complacent.
No, that's definitely true. There's that silence is violence line, which I find to be bullshit. But that is the world we live in now. Anyways, we're going to move on because we're a little sidetracked. So Chadwick Boseman passed away. His breakout role 42. He first appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2016 as King T'Challa, a.k.a. Black Panther in Captain America Civil War. He got his own film in 2018 as Black Panther, eclipsed the $1 billion in gross ticket sales mark, and became the first Marvel film to be nominated for Best Picture. So the question I have to you, where does Black Panther rank amongst your favorite Marvel films?
Ooh, there was some controversy because they were including it with the best picture category, right?
Well, it's because it was the first Marvel movie, and I think I can't say for certain. I think it's the first superhero movie to be nominated for Best Picture. And I remember a lot of people saying it's not the best Marvel movie. It wasn't even the best Marvel movie that year because that Infinity War came out the same year, and I saw Infinity War, and I thought Infinity War was great.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the like Avengers ones when they all get together are awesome, like really awesome.
I would disagree with you because I don't like Age of Ultron. Do you like Age of Ultron?
Okay, not all. I guess I shouldn't say all of them, but I'll lump like Civil War in because you got kind of multiple Marvel characters kind of gathering in that movie as well.
Yeah, yeah. And the Captain America 3 was essentially Avengers mid-quel.
Lights.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And that I think Civil War might be my favorite actually out of all of them.
Really?
Maybe tied with the first Infinity War, but I haven't fleshed that out in my head yet.
I've never seen Civil War.
You haven't really?
I'm not a huge Marvel fan. Like, I
Hmm.
kind of caught on to the gimmick and the formula earlier on, I think. I mean, they still make really good movies, don't get me wrong, but I just it's called oversaturation of the market when when there's like 2 or 3 Marvel movies coming out a year, all of a sudden they're less special.
Hmm.
I remember growing up when like a Spider-Man movie came out and you had to wait like 3 years until you got the next one.
Hmm.
And I kind of
It's
like
like
that.
waiting for like a video game too.
Yeah, I like to anticipate the sequel.
Hmm.
When you basically get new ones all the time, it's like a television series. It's not a movie series. It's just okay. Well, I'm not into that.
Hmm. And they do such a good job of being like a cohesive universe that, they don't feel like standalone films. They just feel like the next Marvel film rather than like the next Iron Man or.
Yeah, I kind of remember reading an article where they talked about how television had surpassed films as where serious drama takes place. It was about Breaking Bad, and that
Hmm.
movies had become just sort of basically generic television series, like with how
Just
often Marvel,
blockbuster movies.
yeah, blockbuster movies, and they produce them so
Mhm.
quickly and they come out every twice a year that they're basically
I could see that. Like my favorite, you know, television these days is long, like 10 episode series that are an hour each, and they go really in depth into what the plot and situation and characters are.
mm-hmm. Huh. Huh.
Oh, you all right?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Uh, my wife just my wife
choking
no
down the rum.
no. My wife just fed me a sweet potato fry and it was hot, so she wanted me to try because that's the side we're having for tonight. Okay, so Black Panther, where does it rank among your all-time Marvel movies? Is it in the is it in the upper 5
It's,
or is it not there?
I would put it in my top 10 for sure. I don't know about upper 5. I do really like the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
think it
wow,
was
yeah.
pretty well done movie.
Speaking of the
Uh,
soundtrack, did you know like the new Christopher Nolan movie Tenet has the same composer for that movie that Black Panther had?
was that rapper guy?
No, well, I don't know what his name is. I'm not good with names on this sort of thing, but yeah. So this is the first Christopher Nolan movie, and I don't know how many years that doesn't have Hans Zimmer. I do know that name. Not
Hmm,
doing the score. It has the Black
interesting.
Panther guy, who got nominated for an Oscar for the record.
Hmm.
So
The John David Washington,
is that his name? I really don't know.
the main character,
What?
the
No.
main character in the movie
What? No, what movie?
Tenet.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but you've seen trailers for it.
No, I really haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
I just
Well,
know.
John David Washington's the main character.
I thought the main character's name was the protagonist.
That's what I meant.
That's a little different. Um,
He's the main character.
I don't know. I love Nolan movies. I'll probably see it and I'll probably love it. But
Fun fact, though, the protagonist in Tenet is actually the son of Denzel Washington.
no kidding.
Yeah, Hollywood's getting all patriarchal, or what's the word for family?
Nepotism.
All nepotistic.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
It's actually not that surprising. You've seen Jaden Smith or whatever his name is, like in live.
Well,
Well, I mean, does he have any talent or is he just Will Smith's son?
he's something else.
I
I
mean,
haven't put my finger on it yet.
I don't know. Mick has shown me my brother has shown me into some of his Twitter, and apparently he has like a lot of like these sort of like um, fortune cookie like philosophy, which is fun.
Oh, jeez. I don't know what to call him. He's acted in one movie. I guess he's tried to produce music. He's just like an influencer, like a straight just influencer.
Isn't that funny that that's become a new profession?
Influencer.
Yeah, just a social media influencer.
He's not good at anything. He's the Renaissance man of bringing attention to himself.
It's essentially a Renaissance man who doesn't excel at anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Will Smith wasn't his dad, who knows where this kid would be?
Nowhere. I'd be a plumber or something. I don't know. Have you ever heard of a guy named Dan Blazarian?
Yeah, he's blowing up on the YouTube circle right now.
Is he? I just know him from Instagram because I have a friend who follows him and he thinks like this is the guy. This is the guy who's got it all figured out.
Does he really? Because he's like labeled as the king of Instagram, and they just found out recently he's just a trust fund baby.
Is he?
You didn't know that? Yeah, his dad has like a multi-million dollar fortune from kind of stealing money from the stock market.
I didn't know that. I heard he made his money from gambling. Is that not
Oh,
right?
hell no. Are you kidding me? That's
So that was that's a lie?
please look up all the recent news going on with Dan Bilzerian and then talk to your friends.
I had no idea that he's just a trust fund baby. That makes it a whole other thing. I thought he was
Yeah, he tries to play it off as he made his money from gambling, but no, he's using his parents' money because they can't use that money in the U.S. because they're fleeing from authorities.
No way, really? Oh God.
Yeah, no joke.
I've been looking.
And he was just kicked out of his mansion because he couldn't afford to pay the rent anymore.
Oh my God, I gotta look this story up. Now I don't follow the guy. I don't care. I look at this guy, and before I knew any of this, I told my friend, this is like a problem. This is like what people glorify. It's terrible stuff. But you're telling me like that just takes it to a whole another level.
Yeah, I kind of had heard of him, and I knew he's like popular, I guess, in some circles, and he looks like a douchebag, so I didn't care to even really see what he was about. And then all this stuff started coming out in the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, God, fuck this guy.
I mostly knew him just from the Joe Rogan podcast. How he came on and he just told his life story, and like he kind of comes off as the ultimate bro, and he just tells.
He's like a 16-year-old that never grew up.
Yeah, but I think what Joe Rogan points out is like a lot of what people hate about him is just jealousy. Because I think a lot of men would actually want to live his life. Let's be honest about that. And I'm not saying
We'd like to try it out. I don't know if we'd do it as long and as he has done.
I don't think everyone, like you or me, but you can acknowledge that you and I are different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that most men that you know, would trade their life for his?
No, not his particular life. I think they'd do slightly different things with her if they had the money to do it.
Really?
But I think so. Not everyone's the same.
Who are you thinking of right now?
Just thinking my roommate. I don't, just because he's nearby.
Okay.
I don't think he would do that. He's more too timid to kind of live that outsized bro lifestyle. But then I know people that would do exactly that.
Oh my God. I know plenty of people who do just that. Now,
I would probably want to do like more ridiculous things.
I think so too. I think I would take that money and just like do like the kind
What's the most like ridiculous thing I can do that I wouldn't be able to afford to do without this money?
Race giraffes. Like do something ridiculous that like no one has thought of just because you can. That's the thing I would want to do. What he does is just like sort of like every man's fantasy. It's sort of cliche. It's all hot women. It's partying. It's alcohol. It's like big guns firing. It's
like literally all the things rolled up into one. Where some punk kid that's what he would do.
I I just like to think it. He's the every frat boy's like
The
ideal
Godfather.
Godfather. Yeah. Okay. Once again, we're drifting, but like, let's get back to Marvel just for a second because, yes, what happened to Chadwick Boseman is sad. He had battled
Mhm.
colon cancer for 4 years. I didn't. I haven't seen him in many things other than like Marvel. And
And
40,
42.
42 is so I don't know any more than that.
Mhm.
But where do you?
The thing is, like, he was an up and coming actor, and
Yeah, exactly.
especially a young up and coming, black actor, and
It was 43. He
with
wasn't that young. He had a late.
I thought he was a little bit younger than that, but I could see 43.
They always look young. You can
But
interpret.
still really startling too, though, like the way he died from colon cancer as well.
Yeah, like
You
it's
know,
one of those
it's
things. Don't mean to cut you off. It's one of those things they don't publicize or talk about. But he apparently, yeah, been battling cancer for 4 years. So
yeah, and it's a cancer you associate with like much older people that
hmm
have to do the yearly checkup or whatnot.
all right, but going forward, we know that. What does this mean for the MCU? Do you see them recasting the role of Black Panther, or do you see them retiring the role?
I think it would be a lot easier to recast it since the Black Panther hasn't remained the same person. So I think
Hmm.
they would be able to possibly take, like Michael B. Jordan is, um, although was he killed off at the end? I can't
I
remember.
don't think he was.
Uh,
I think that would
so
be a
okay, so they wouldn't be able to take him, but
no, but that might be a good way. You can always like turn a villainous character into a positive. Piccolo. That's
there you go.
yeah, I know, but that's always a good storyline. I feel they don't do it enough in Marvel. I mean, low key, sorta, I guess, but he's always
He's
sort of
still
an
like up
asshole.
in the air, like no
Yeah,
one even knows what's going on with him right now.
I think they even made that joke in Thor 3. There was this like, are you a bad guy? Are you a good guy? And he says it changes depending on the moment, or something like that.
I'm the wild card, bitches.
Yeah, exactly. I love the wild card, bitch. We're gonna review It's Always Sunny one day for this podcast. Okay. So I was gonna bring this up. It's a little unrelated because I thought. So the thing about the MCU is they've retired a lot of their main cast.
hmm
Iron Man's gone. Captain
Yeah,
America's
Iron
gone.
Man, Captain America, yeah, the kind of legacy.
Yeah. The original cast of the Avengers is mostly gone. What's her name? Shoot, Black Widow's gone.
hmm
Hawkeye, I can't imagine being a big name.
He was never that big to begin with, and I'm sure they're from what I hear about the next phase, they've got plenty of other new characters to introduce.
Yeah. And then, of course, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk is just—he's never been even a leading man in this series.
Has he even had a standalone character as the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo? I
No,
know the other guys did.
yeah, Edward Norton had the original um, MCU Hulk film, but
Mhm.
then Edward Norton didn't want to be part of it because apparently he's an asshole. Um, so they cast Mark Ruffalo. So basically, the only original cast members of the original Avengers you have left is Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth as Thor. And even then, Thor doesn't. It feels like his arc is complete, and he's not really going to be a big player. He's going to be a joke character because they turned him into a comedic character.
Well, and I like what they're doing with that.
Oh, I do too, but I'm just saying he's not the leading man anymore.
Yeah, actually, I think is sequel coming out gonna focus more on Lady Thor, right?
I think I don't know about that. But my question to you is, knowing that the main cast is gone, it could have been conceivable that T'Challa, played by Boseman, would have been the sort of next front man for the MCU. It
hmm
seems conceivable because he's part of that stage 3 introduction. We're gonna introduce this guy, and his character was obviously very popular. His movie was very popular,
hmm
but now he's gone. So where does the MCU go from here? Because before you answer that question, I do have one article I read where Disney is trying to shy away from Brie Larson due to her unpopularity with the fans.
Fans did not like her as what is it, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. Because It's not hard to figure out why. She's really just sort of
She's a
hateable.
good actress, though.
She's hateable.
She's just rubbing people the wrong way. Have you ever seen Room?
I haven't same room, but it's not even. That's
Oh,
not the
it's
point.
that's a dark movie, but
I had talked to my wife about this. I wanted to get her say about like sort of this topic. She hates Captain Marvel. She hated the actress. She said the movie was fine, but she hated the actress who played Captain Marvel.
really,
Yeah, she's apparently there's just something really off-putting about her. She just seems like a stone cold
so,
bitch.
so not, I heard she didn't quite get along too well with the castmates either.
Oh, they
Um,
hated her. You could see it in the interviews in their faces. They did not want to be in the room with her.
I don't know what it is. Like I think she's an all right person. I've seen interviews of her and other stuff,
I think
and
she's a good actress. It's just that
yeah.
there's just something about her. Maybe something with the face. Maybe she's got that resting bitch face. I don't know what it is. There's just something about her you don't like, right?
I guess so. I don't know her or will never know her personally, but
But okay, so anyway, I bring up this article that Disney is trying to shy away from Brie Larson because the original plan was to have Brie Larson as the new face of the MCU. But because of how she was received by fans, they're shying away from the actress and the character. They're still producing Captain Marvel too, but now they're trying to promote Scarlet Witch as the new face.
I like that. I think she's hot.
I don't
Not
know.
that that qualifies as making you the best leader, but
No, I don't know if she's attractive or not. She's obviously attractive. She's a movie star. I just don't think she's that.
she's the most attractive Olsen now.
Yes, that's true. But is she as attractive as Scarlett Johansson?
Not
Just,
not
just,
nah,
just the
probably
fact.
not, but that she's not that much below.
She's very much below.
And she's I mean as a superhero, she's arguably, 100 times stronger than Scarlett
Of
Johansson.
course, actually, Scarlet Witch is actually surprisingly, people don't know this. She's one of the most
Mhm.
powerful characters in the whole Marvel universe. So
Yeah, I mean, she was the only one able to break that stone off of with Jarvis.
right, I don't know how she ranks. I mean, there's a lot of nerd fan debates about who's the strongest Avenger, who's the most powerful. Usually, they settle on Thor. Hulk gets a lot of love. Captain
hmm
Marvel. Here's the funny thing about Captain Marvel. I think she's made exceptionally strong in the movies. According to her actual rankings, she's not that powerful in the real comics.
Really?
Yeah, they made her more powerful in the films. In the comics, Thor is clearly the most powerful.
I mean, he's basically a god.
Exactly. Um, but yeah, I think it's apparently Disney is trying to divorce themselves, distance themselves from Captain Marvel. They'll still produce the films, but she's no longer going to be the face of the MCU. Instead, they might try to promote. I'm forgetting the actress's name.
Oh, Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. She might be the new face. What do you think about that?
I'm done. The thing is, she doesn't have that like leading woman something about her that would kind of sell that. Like Brie Larson, her character and the way she's portrayed feels like a leader, whereas
Mm,
um,
yeah.
basically Scarlet Witch wanted to elope with Jarvis and didn't want anything to do with the Avengers following the last Infinity War, or not Infinity War, but
Yeah.
the Civil War.
Yeah. Well, here's the issue I think the MCU now faces. Black Panther could have been a good leading man for the MCU.
hmm
But the actor who plays him is dead, unfortunately. Now, of all the cast that's remaining, because all we have left now is a bunch of side characters and comedic relief. We don't have the.
Oh, you know what I think they do?
What do they do?
His sister was pretty well received in the movie. I think they put her as the new Black Panther.
Really? You think that's gonna happen?
You know that they want a female lead for some reason, and
For some reason, because Hollywood is woke.
yeah, it's Disney, And what better than who that bisexual or questionably bisexual black woman?
I think that I think that'll turn off a lot of fans, but
That
I because it's so on the nose sort of thing. It's too
yeah, they're doing this to for the attention.
for the
They're
identity
thirsty.
politics. Yeah, I don't know. So I I don't know what you do from here, because in theory I thought Black Panther. I mean Chadwick Boseman as that would have been a conceivable frontman.
Hmm.
You've retired the original Avengers cast. Mark Ruffalo is the only one who's really still around, and he's not a leading man. He's a comic relief. He's fine, but he's not the face of the franchise.
Yeah, he's never been known as the guy to lead him because of how chaotic he is. His,
Yeah,
you know, guy
it's
is.
it's a troublesome spot to be Marvel right now. I don't know what they do, because they kind of built up Black Panther and Captain Marvel as the two new characters that people are going to have to relate to. They liked
Hmm.
the fans liked Black Panther. They hated Captain Marvel. So
Okay.
it's a tough one. I don't know what the MCU does. I really don't.
Here's a sideball. What about Lady Thor?
Is that Natalie Portman?
It is, yeah, and I could. She's definitely a leading actress,
That's never gonna work.
actor. Sorry,
That's not gonna work. Sorry, I don't think that's gonna work at all.
no,
No, just no,
just no.
no.
Okay,
This is gonna come across as sexist, but it needs to be a leading man.
if not Brie Larson, if
Brie Larson's already really hated. It's not gonna be her. It's just not
but
gonna be
you
her.
could see her in that role though.
No, well, I mean, I could see her being pushed in that role, but I just don't think the
Hmm.
fans are gonna like it. I can see Scarlet Witch, because people like her. The problem is she's just not a lead character. We don't know enough about her. She's been sidelined. If they did
She's
her,
more of like an empathetic character than like a, you know,
yeah,
the strategic, leader.
I know. I that's what I'm saying. The MCU is in a real dangerous spot because they've killed off Tony. They've retired Captain America, and what I don't know what you do. It's just Black Panther was a conceivable new. It's and I know, it's just it's shit. I don't know what the MCU does.
You don't want to put Ant-Man in charge.
Once again, he's too goofy.
Yeah,
It can't be a comic relief.
they've kind of emasculated without Black Panther. Most of the rest of the men are kind of emasculated in the.
The thing about Tony Stark is that he was funny, but he was also highly capable, highly confident, and highly intelligent.
Hmm.
I don't get the same sense from Paul Rudd. He can't pull it off. It's
That's all he had
look,
to say.
can you imagine the MCU led by Ant-Man? The Avengers featuring the Avengers led by Ant-Man. Doesn't work. I don't know. Can you pull Captain America out of retirement? I don't know.
Can there be? Oh, there is supposed to be a new captain, right?
Oh, the Falcon. Isn't he going to be like the new Captain
Yeah, he's
America?
supposed to be the new captain.
That would be good if it wasn't for the fact that we know very little about him.
Yeah, it was basically the flying guy, the guy that just had to fly
It's. I mean,
because you need that guy.
once again, then we need a new character and we need an origin story.
Yeah.
You can't give Falcon an origin story. It's just not going to be that interesting. And
No, I mean, they are introducing plenty of new characters in the kind of universal universe.
I'll tell you,
Um,
the only MCU films I'm still looking forward to at this point is Guardians.
oh yeah, we didn't even talk about are they technically part of the Avengers, right?
I think technically, but even then, it's not.
Even Chris Pratt seems a little bit too goofy, even though he's Star-Lord.
I would say that it can't be Star-Lord. I mean, he's likable. He's He's certainly got all the qualities of a leading man. It's just you can't be the leading.
He's more of like a ragtag leader, you know. He's not like for the
Exactly.
good of everything leader.
Exactly. You can't see him in a dramatic role. You just can't.
Hmm.
And that's the problem. The thing about Tony Stark is he could be funny, but he was also very dramatic.
Hmm.
And Spider-Man's too young.
Yeah, I mean, if he was a older Spider-Man, sure, I guess it would seem a little bit off because he's no. I don't think he's ever been put in that role because he's always been the kid.
Bring back Tobey Maguire.
Okay, bring him back.
That's something Into the Spider-Verse movie missed an opportunity on. You could have brought Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back into the fold and make it
Into the
all
mix,
yeah,
an alternate universe, the
yeah.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
It would have made it all canon. It would have been amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they still could. They're supposed to be making a sequel.
That'd be cool. I want to see that.
That's got to be in my top 5 favorite Marvel films.
It's funny enough, but I don't see that as part of the MCU, even though it is one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah, because it's not grouped together with the rest of, even like the Venom universe they're trying to create.
I never saw Venom, and I heard it was terrible. So
It was so. I mean, I watched it mostly because Tom Hardy was cast as Venom,
yeah,
but
I like him too, but I'm not gonna go see a movie just because he's in it.
mhm.
All right. Moving on now. We got another article we found on crack.com, which is journalistic gold, apparently. An article about the 4 deep, dark secrets of the porn industry.
Ooh,
All
what
right.
could be secret about the porn industry? They show all.
Funny enough, I read through the article, and there's not much here that you're not going to already have guessed or know. It's not really a deep, dark, held secret. This is just sort of in the forefront. Everyone knows this. So the number one thing they mentioned is that rampant piracy drives down performer income.
Whoa, who would have known?
Yeah. Okay, so popularity of
All that free stuff you've been watching, people really isn't going to the actresses.
Yeah,
Performers.
So as popularity of porn has increased, performer pay has actually decreased. Now, the typical porn actress can still expect to be paid somewhere between $700 to $2,000 a scene based on a number of factors, but that number has been steadily decreasing with the increase of amateur porn and with the sort of consolidation of the porn industry. And that was actually the first fact we should talk about. The industry of porn is actually mostly owned by just a few companies. Predominantly a company called MindGeek.
Yeah, I haven't heard of MindGeek. Isn't Brazers one of them?
Yeah, so MindGeek actually owns Pornhub. It owns Xtube. It owns Brazers. It pretty much owns all of the major porn distributors.
Oh, it's the umbrella porn
Yes.
company.
Yeah, exactly. It's the faceless, nameless corporation behind all of it. And it actually hurts a lot of the industry because they are, like Amazon, are both a marketplace and a vendor. They find out what the trending popular thing is, and they duplicate it and just sell that and use the algorithms to sort of guide you towards that material. So it's hurting a lot of indie studios.
Oh, they're ripping off all the parody porn films.
Gotta love those parody porn films. But a question I have to you, because this is sort of a broader conversation about corporate consolidation, because that's a very worrisome problem in today's economy with fewer companies owning a larger portion of the market. My question to you is that inherently bad? And how do you see this progressing? Like, where does this take us into the future?
Into the porn future? Or like the corporate future?
Corporate future, because there's going to be more questions about porn. Don't worry, we're going to get back to the porn.
Don't worry.
Just in general,
I see where you're going with this.
General, do you think like the idea of like fewer companies owning a larger portion of the market share is a big problem?
I definitely can be, because like if you have like a niche thing and you sell it well, and that literally like there's another company that controls like half the market, the entire like market for that particular thing that you're trying to sell,
Mm.
and they can just rip you off or just build it or build something really similar that um, skirts patent laws, and sell it, to their base for cheaper, probably sometimes a lot cheaper.
Hmm.
Um, then it leaves not a whole lot of room for creative innovation.
There's not a lot of room for creative innovation, for sure. Plus,
Mhm.
it also I worry about the day where like you only can choose between four different employers. Like you're all gonna
What's that gif where it's like five companies that own like half the world?
yeah, exactly. Like in the end, like there's
I
not a
I,
lot.
lo- I think it was displayed, or what, it may have been just for media, but it was displayed as Thanos's his Infinity Gauntlet, and each one was like a different.
Yeah, you can either work for Walmart, for Amazon, for Google, or whatever. It's all gonna it's all gonna come down to just a few employers. Everything's owned by
Mhm.
something, so there's not a lot of freedom when it comes to that because freedom maximizes choices, and basically you have these corporations that are far too powerful.
Mhm. So is it time to break up the corporations?
Well, that's a bigger conversation for another day. I definitely think that there's something to regulating the big tech companies. Breaking them up, I don't know. That's a bigger
Mhm.
conversation. But anyways, going back to the porn, because that's what people are.
Segueing back to reality.
Because when we start a conversation about the deep dark secrets of the porn industry, no one wants conversations about corporate consolidation.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, this is going to actually lead right back into the whole conversation about bigger topics. But so another one of the big secrets is that MindGeek's algorithms. MindGeek is once again the conglomerate that owns most porn distributors,
Mhm.
have the same oversight problems as YouTube. Now, MindGeek collects more user data than Netflix or Spotify, which can be very concerning for a data collection from a company that popularized the whole idea of incognito browsers. Like that's kind of iffy, right?
There's
Like,
a sweet irony in that, isn't it?
they're actually monitoring your data. They're tracking what you watch. They're trying to actually, but the algorithm works in the same way that YouTube does. You watch one video, it recommends you a similar video that you might enjoy. And then you watch that video, it'll recommend you another video that you might enjoy based on the two previous videos that you might enjoy.
You're going
So,
down the porn rabbit hole. Who knows where you're gonna end up at?
yeah, exactly. That is actually the quote that is used in the article. Actually, that their
Is it?
a YouTube employee, for instance, it compares it to the YouTube's algorithms, have been criticized by employees for politically radicalizing their user base by guiding them towards more racist and fascist content. Quote end quote. First off, I don't believe for a second that an employee who criticized the videos has any idea what fascism is. Second, that brings up a bigger question that it is true that watching one video will guide you down the rabbit hole of watching more and more videos. So, my question to you is, do we as a society have a porn addiction, and what are the drawbacks of that addiction?
Hmm.
Because
Uh,
it seems like now I love capitalism, but one of the problems from capitalism it's really good at providing you what you want, but it does a very terrible job at trying to explain to you what you should want. So
what's healthy?
yeah, what's healthy to enjoy. So um, basically, I live in a capitalist world and I enjoy porn. Therefore, porn is provided to me at extraordinary rates. I get tons of it.
Therefore, I get all the porn I want
Yeah,
for free.
therefore you get all the porn you want for free, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with a terrible porn addiction.
A crippling porn addiction.
So, do you think that we as a society have a porn addiction?
Oh man, that's just a whole nother. I wouldn't say I have an addiction. No, I do partake. Um,
Partaking is one thing, but like, is it preventing you from enjoying a normal, healthy life?
no, not at all. I don't think so. I don't think I'm substituting it for a whole in my life, like real relationships, like with women or, um,
But
I don't. It's
do,
not a thing like.
what would where okay? So what do you think it'd be like if there was no porn? At least in no immediate access to porn. Let's say we have to go back to the 80s and 90s where you had to go into a video store and buy porn from a cashier who gives you a laugh when you buy.
I think it actually helps people explore like their ticks, their fetishes, probably a bit more than like if someone was embarrassed to buy like something at a porn store that so they might laugh at them or be discovered with it.
With that much, very much, I agree with that.
hmm
But does
So
that?
I think that's a good thing.
But is there a drawback to that?
hmm
This
Oh,
immediate
that's
access, and not only immediate access to porn, but the porn websites directing your attention towards more videos. So the PBS used an example of saying it's
mhm.
basically like a junk food addiction, and someone's waving junk food under your nose.
Hey, how about this? Oh, you don't
Yeah,
like that? Oh, I got something even better.
yeah. So what would you say is like what could be a potential drawback to a society that's addicted to porn?
I guess you. I mean, it stop if people if they're society or people.
Okay, start with people and then go to society.
Okay.
So what does an individual lose out when they get addicted to porn?
Like I said, like probably like the chance for a real loving relationship with a woman. Um,
And do you
and
and do you think that the immediate access to porn has increased that loneliness or that like you describe yourself as someone who indulges, and I'm not calling you out. I indulge too. Everyone does. But does this prevent people from having healthy, normal relationships?
it would prevent some people.
Good point.
I don't know what it speaks to. I don't know if we're a society addicted to porn.
Okay, that's a
I don't know. I mean, there's this whole thing called incels now that didn't exist before. Um, I don't know if that would have popped up in a different era, but the cultural stigma around watching porn is, much more lax than it ever has been, at least in the Western society.
yeah. And I would say that the incel thing is a new thing because, well, people basically been given a substitute for normal relationships. You didn't
hmm
have that before. I think back in the past, um, you had to get a woman, and in order to get a woman, you had to improve yourself.
hmm
And now I think that the immediate access to porn has prevented people from improving themselves.
More men than women. I don't think you see like a lot of women thinking they need to act more, I don't know, like porn women than
No, yeah,
anymore. But I think there's a different dichotomy to that. Like with Instagram, you hear more about women being much more depressed in their suicide rates, especially in teenagers going up,
yeah.
because they're comparing themselves more and more to like beautiful women. And I don't know if you've explored Instagram that much, but you thought you had more access to porn than ever. Like you have more access to see every beautiful woman in the world, on Instagram.
Oh, I actually agree completely. I mean, like this new age, this new digital age we're in affects men and women differently. I
And
think with
so the women might be trying to play up their looks and not trying to find more a better person to be with
I
in
think
order to get like a better mate, I guess.
well, I think the issue for men is that men get addicted to porn, therefore they lose the incentive to improve themselves because
hmm
if I can do very little effort and get the same well, I'm not going to call it the same, but I get a thrill of watching porn. I think like they basically showed that like when men watch porn, it lights up the same parts of the brain as when they're having sex. So they're enjoying it the same. Now
Mhm.
there's a companionship level. There's a emotional intimacy level towards a relationship that can't be duplicated from porn, which I think men are losing out on.
Mhm.
But I would say women, on the other hand, they're more influenced by social media, not so much by porn addiction. And women are very competitive. That doesn't get
Yeah.
highlighted enough because we know men are competitive,
Mhm.
but women are just as competitive as men. It's just they're competitive
Just
about different
yeah,
things.
it's like men are they're less competitive like with each other to like find a girl, but more competitive with I guess a girl in order to prove they're worthy, I guess.
No,
But
I think that men are just as men are competitive with men, but like there was a okay. Let me say this:
uh,
men are competitive in the sense that they're trying to show that they are the best man by beating other men. Women, on the other hand, are somewhat competitive in the sense they're trying to drag people down. They're trying to put people down.
mm-hmm.
I think that's a little more
Ever heard
shown.
of a catty woman?
Yeah, a catty woman. And
Mhm.
so there's a huge talk, a bigger conversation to be held about social media and the internet's role in our lives. And it's changing people in ways that it's really radical and really new. It's happening so fast. Um, but yeah, I would say that porn as a whole has been a net negative for men.
Mm-hmm. Or at
Um,
least the ease of access.
Now, there is a question is like, is this
Have you? Oh, hold on. Have
okay?
you ever heard of porn theaters? They don't
No.
really exist now anymore, but
Well, why would they? People can go on the line at their own home. It's such a weird
there
thing to say. I want to go to a theater and
there used to be porn theaters, and it was sort of socially acceptable to masturbate in your seat while the thing was going on.
all right, okay.
I'm not
That no,
joking.
I
Just heard this a few weeks ago.
I know that was a thing. It's just still creepy to think about, and I get that that used to be the norm before you had the internet.
Don't you think there's like a little thrill to that?
No, not at all. Oh my god. You know, Tina.
That's the person I was listening to. He was saying he could see like the thrill in it.
Oh my god. You know, Tina, I would love to continue this conversation because it's been enjoyable, and I think we could keep going on. But unfortunately, we had a very strict time limit tonight, and we're
Hmm.
now over that time limit. So
Sorry, folks.
I know, I'm sorry. We'll continue this conversation next week because I feel like there's much more to be talked about.
We just got to porn theater and we gotta cut you off.
That's what everyone's been waiting for. This hour and a half into it is like, we want to hear about the porn theaters. We want to hear about the good old days where guys jerked off in trench coats.
With other men sort of around.
We really love that nostalgia. That's why we're Seattle Mariners fans. Boom.
Boom. Oh Lord.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
sorry. I'm so sorry. This has been fun. Unfortunately, we do have to cut it off. So, any last thoughts?
if you can get a hike out in before the end of summer. I had just had a really good one today, and feeling a bit tired after it actually. But
Mm-hmm.
there's only so much summer left, and you're not going to be able to hike in the fall if or with as much fun out in the fall if this pandemic's still going on and lockdowns are still here.
Yeah, we don't know about
So
that. Got to cross our fingers and hope for the best. But
mhm.
excellent last thoughts. Yeah, get a hike in, enjoy nature. We're gonna come back in.
Labor Day is coming up. That's like camping, the camping holiday.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And as everyone knows who lives here in Western Washington, we have two seasons, summer and the gray.
Summer and some sort of wasteland of season.
Just general rainy and gray and wet and cloudy and just overcast for 9 months.
Weather purgatory.
Exactly. All right. For Tina and Karen, do the tube. I am Karen.
It's to me, Tina.
He's trying out the new one. All right. Everyone stay safe and stay hydrated. We love y'all.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, bye.